Same game parlay from Bet365 just keeps getting better.
Well, it's even easier to make a bet. Choose from the most popular markets like hits, run line, totals, and home runs. So many to choose from.
Download the app, start building your bet, and see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. T&Cs apply.
When you hear
crunch,
whine, boing,
Alaskan AC will arrive to fix it in less than 24 hours from the first crunch,
whine, boing. No matter what kind of
crunch,
whine, or boing your AC is making,
we fix it on your schedule.
That's huge. We guarantee to be there in 24 hours or less, or the repair is free.
We not only get there fast, we polar bear promise we'll get the job done right.
We believe you deserve fresh air free of humidity in every room of your home, and you should never hear crunch,
whine, boing.
If you do, call Alaskan AC, and we guarantee we'll be there in under 24 hours.
If we don't make it, your repair will be free.
No matter how big the crunch,
boing,
or whine.
Wait, I thought I was whine.
You're crunch.
I'm crunch. You're boing.
I don't think I'm boing. Gary's more of a boing than me.
William is crunch.
Schedule now and tell us who boing is. Only at AlaskanAC.com.
I'm Mark.
And I'm Colina. We've purchased 2 Fulton homes in the last 7 years. We would never buy anywhere but Fulton homes.
We actually tried other builders, looked at them, and nothing compares to Fulton quality. We're repeat builders with Fulton. It's been an amazing process, and we would never go anywhere else after experiencing it. The process working with the Fulton team was great. They cared. We got updates, and you could just tell how much they were excited, almost as much as we are. Fulton is so good at the homes they build. The quality you get is just really unmatched. They continue to care about us as a client, even though we've now finished the sale. I admired their communities because they were always a step above. The amount of landscaping, the way it was always groomed. They add the features that you want to be outside, you want to be in the community. And that matters to us. We want to be outside, not just in the home. And all the amenities are just amazing. We would buy Fulton Homes again in a heartbeat. I don't think we'd consider anybody else.
Fulton Homes. You're proud to own, we're proud to build.
The Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event is going on now at Mark Kia in Scottsdale.
Right now, you can receive up to $500 bonus cash on some of our most popular models.
The name to remember, Mark Kia. Mark Kia. Go to markkia.com for full details.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix. It's the lunch break.
A win last night, but at what cost? Welcome into the Tuesday edition of the lunch break here on KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert with you here, streaming on the KDUS AM 1060 app, and you can always watch the program over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. Hope everybody is having a great start to their Tuesday. A lot of Diamondbacks ahead for us here today on the program because stuff just keeps happening to this baseball team. Injuries just pile up for this team, and it happened again last night. But it was a win. Took some drama, took a meltdown. Yes, we are classifying that as a meltdown. But ultimately, the Diamondbacks got the win last night in extras, and that is where we will start today's program.
Time for our top story of the day. It's the Daily Special.
Required some heroics in extra innings, but the Diamondbacks picked up a win in the series opener against the Seattle Mariners, 8-4. Josh Naylor with the big blow, the walk-off grand slam in the bottom of the 11th. But what I think is frustrating about this game, other than the fact that it had to go to extras in the first place, is that it was lining up to be the perfect medicine for this team. Think for just a moment where we were yesterday. Talking about a team that just got swept in Cincinnati after sweeping Atlanta and the seesaw nature of this season continuing and just not knowing who the real Diamondbacks are. I think it's a question we are still all trying to answer. Are they the team more like what we saw in Atlanta, or are they more the team that we saw in Cincinnati? And as their pitching goes, they go. You're just looking for something, some type of stretch that can define who this baseball team is. And yesterday, you got a little medicine that started to put us down one path, because Merrill Kelly yesterday was brilliant. Merrill Kelly yesterday did exactly what Merrill Kelly has done throughout his entire career. He's been a stopper for this ball club. He has been the calm, steady force out there on the mound that doesn't care if the Diamondbacks had won 3 in a row or lost 3 in a row. Doesn't care if it's an important game in September or October, or if it's the beginning of the season in April or May. He is going to be the same guy with the same attitude, with the same mannerisms, with the same collectiveness, no matter the start, no matter the situation, no matter the opponent, no matter the place they're playing. Merrill Kelly is just a cool customer. That's just who he has been since being a member of this Diamondbacks rotation. And that is exactly what we saw from him again last night over the course of his 6 innings of solid work. Just being that steady, calming hand that just goes out there, takes care of business, doesn't show a ton of emotion, clocks in, clocks out, and just gets it done. Just a lunch pail mentality, just going to show up, do my job, and be exactly what you need me to be.
Feels like the definition of a blue-collar pitcher.
Absolutely. Merrill Kelly, blue-collar pitcher. Just brings the lunch pail, goes out there, works hard. If he gets into trouble, he gets out of trouble, has those 1, 2, 3 innings, and is just a clock in, clock out, take care of business kind of guy. And I love it. It's exactly what this rotation needs. This rotation could use 5 Merrill Kellys right now. If this team had 5 Merrill Kellys, we're not having half the conversations we have on this show about this team's future.
You can move one of them to the bullpen, maybe.
Yeah, give me 5 Merrill Kellys in this rotation, and we have a glass half full approach. That's how great Merrill Kelly was last night. And so he was going to deliver you the start. Your offense did just enough. Corbin Carroll, welcome back. Nice to see you. Opposite field home run on the first pitch of the game. Your offense scores enough. You get to the 9th inning. You hand things off to Justin Martinez. It was going to be such a delightful day today here on the show. Merrill Kelly dominant. Bullpen did their job. Save for Justin Martinez. A shutout in the opener. Let's start feeling good about this baseball team again. Let's start feeling like, okay, what happened in Cincinnati, maybe just a small little blip. They are the team that we saw in Atlanta sweep the Braves. They got the good starting pitching. The offense and bullpen were good. Check on to the next one. Let's get back to winning series. That's how I thought we were going to start. We were going to start today's show. That's where I thought we were going to be. And in some ways we are, because they did win the game and they can still start stacking series wins by getting this first one against Seattle. But the Diamondbacks had other plans. And they had other plans specifically in the 9th inning, because they win, but it comes at a cost. And it comes at the cost of Justin Martinez. And we'll get more into J Mart here in a little bit, who's going to go for an MRI, one of a couple of Diamondbacks pitchers who are getting MRIs as the injuries just continue to stack up for this ball club. But you have 2 outs in the 9th inning, 4-0, free and easy. Now all of a sudden, J Mart gets hurt. You have to go to the other members of your bullpen. We use the phrase on the show all the time, the wheels just fell off. And for those who are the P1s here of the show, who are with us every single day, you know we've been keeping track. You know we have the little sign up this many days since a meltdown incident. Producer Evan had the gall to ask me in the morning meeting if that classified as a meltdown last night. You had 2 outs and a 4-0 lead. You had to go to extra innings. If that's not a meltdown, we should stop keeping track of the meltdowns.
Yes, but there is
no.
Won the baseball game.
There was no but. You had a 4. There's no but.
Injury.
There is no but. You had a 4-run lead with 2 outs in the 9th inning. You went to extra innings.
No, it was bad.
I don't want context. Normally we say context matters. You can keep your context on a day like today. Meltdown. Put it on the list. Erase the board. 0 days since a Diamondbacks meltdown incident.
And by the way, how about he gives up the home run, right? So it's 4-4 now. Immediately, J.P. Crawford single, Julio single. Now here comes Cal Raleigh up, their best offensive player, not even close. And you're like, oh, Not only are they going to lose, they're going to give up a 7-run ninth.
Well, and the other part of it, too, is Raleigh didn't have a good night up until that point. You had kind of kept him quiet. So you're expecting in that spot, oh, here we go again. Bullpen problems. We've given up the lead. Now the best hitter in this Seattle lineup is going to deal the final blow in the ninth. It didn't happen. You went to extras. The 10th was a clean 10th across the board. No runs. Nobody scratched anything across. In the top of the 11th, the Mariners did not get a run across. The Diamondbacks, rightly so. This is the one time where I'm okay with bunting. They bunted the runner over to third with 1 out where a sac fly now wins you the game. They loaded up the bases. Josh Naylor delivered the blow that got it done, and they win 8-4. It was just, I was watching it happen. Now, I went to Monday Night Raw last night with my daughter, went to some wrestling downtown. So I'm walking back to the car, right? Keeping tabs on the game, but walking back to my car, walking by the sports book in downtown Phoenix. So it was 2-0 in the 5th. I'm like, great. We're going to get in the car. I'm going to turn the radio cast of the game on. We'll listen to it on the way home. No problem. So we're listening. We get home. It's 4-0. I sit down. I get home, telling the fiance about how the night went. We had a good time. And all of a sudden I get a text message from a buddy. He's like, they blew it in the 9th. I'm like, they did what? Like, I just got home. I walked in the door. It was the 9th inning. It was 4-0. How on earth did they blow this? So, okay, go to the TV, get the DVR, back it up. Now I got to watch. I got to see how this plays out. And it's just, J-Mart gets hurt. And then the guys you bring in start giving up hits. You're like, how on earth is this happening to this baseball team again? So add it to the list of meltdowns. I think we're up to 11. I think we had a meltdown last week that got us to double digits. So now we're at 11 on the season. And again, yeah, it's a little unfair to put it on the meltdown meter, but it counts. You had a 4-0 lead with 2 outs in the ninth.
You just needed 1 out.
Just needed 1 out. Just needed 1 strike.
And then, but like Murillo comes in and gives up back-to-back singles on back-to-back pitches.
Wasn't great. I mean, it wasn't great. And again, the next segment is going to be all about Justin Martinez's injury and where the bullpen goes from here. And I've got an example of him leaving the game last night, and they just can't handle themselves. Couldn't do it. Couldn't keep the wheels on for 1 out in the 9th inning with a 4-run lead. So, not to do the show before the show, but not a lot of confidence that we're breathing into this bullpen if J-Mart is going to miss significant time. And it certainly doesn't seem like he's going to make a speedy recovery right now. Don't expect it to be just one 15-day IL stint. So just, again, it was trending to be exactly the night that this team needed. Excellent starting pitching. Offense does enough. Bullpen slams the door. You were going to feel good coming into a Tuesday, and instead, another meltdown, another pitcher injury. But the one solace that we can all take from yesterday is they hung on and they got the win in extra innings. Because could you imagine if they completed the trifecta? A bullpen meltdown, another pitcher injury. I mean, we had an injury before the game. Get another injury during the game, and you lose to Seattle, and you blow the 4-run lead and lose in extras.
And Seattle, I mean, they've been kind of, I can't find the word. They've been struggling recently.
Outside of Cal Riley, Seattle as a team have been struggling.
A rough go.
Yeah, they're barely above 500. They're kind of keeping pace in the AL West, trying to just stay close to the coattails of Houston. Yeah. Cal Riley's a great story. MVP candidate. My AL MVP. But other than that, their pitching hasn't been as good as it has been in years past. They're still waiting for that offense. Feels like every year we're asking that question about Seattle. And you give up 4 runs with 2 outs in the 9th inning. How does this stuff keep happening to this baseball team? It's like every day you think that the previous day is the worst thing that we're going to see this season from this bullpen, and they find new ways to top themselves. Now, this isn't worse than the other ones on the meltdown meter because they won the game. But boy, if they would have lost it, I think it shoots up towards the top of the list. If 2 outs, you're an out away.
That might be the worst one. Had you gotten 2 outs with 1 on, up 4. Like you came in 1 out, no save situation.
Yeah.
Brigham came in the game.
Yeah. Not a save spot. Just got to hold on to a 4-run lead.
No.
Couldn't do it. You went to extras. You find a way to win. And I see John talking about it over on the YouTube chat. Home plate umpire.
It was bad.
We need to talk about that strike zone a little bit, especially in extras. He rung up Herrera, I believe it was in the bottom of the 10th, on a pitch that was 2 feet above the top of the strike zone.
And
Then
it was bad both ways last night.
Well, then in the next half inning, he got Seattle, I forget who was up, but on a pitch in a very similar spot. So at least that part of the strike zone went both ways, but oof, was it a tough, wide strike zone. And sometimes it was wide, sometimes it tightened up a little bit, but it was tough last night for both sides. Kelly got squeezed a little bit. In extra innings, it kind of expanded. I wonder if he had a reservation for dinner, and the extra innings just kind of made it difficult to hit that reservation, so had to speed things along. That strike zone got a little wide in extras. Stuff at the top of the zone that I don't think you'd call a strike in your beer league softball game was being called a strike. It was like, let's get a move on. It's a 4-4 game in extras. What are we doing here? Josh Naylor with a huge night as well last night. Great defensive play, unassisted double play that he turned by himself. Obviously hits the grand slam, but a multi-hit day for him, driving in some runs. Just a great all-around day for him and kind of the MVP for this team on offense to help them survive and not completely collapse in extras.
Yeah, he had the 3 hits.
Yeah, he was
great
great.
play in the field. And then really one of his flyouts, too, was 408 feet.
Yeah.
Right to the warning track in center field, the deepest part of the park.
Good quality at-bats, came through in the big moment there with the grand slam. And again, the moment he hits the ball, you don't really care where it lands. You know that's scoring the 1 run. You know it's deep enough to make it 5-4 and then walk off. But to have it leave the ballpark, man, that's got to be cool. And they let him round the bases.
Yeah.
So counts as a grand slam.
And confidence booster, right?
Yeah, for an offense that we'll get to this a little bit later on in the program, they're going to have to carry the load now. I think there's no question about it. The offense is going to have to do the heavy lift here.
And for an offense that struggled in Cincinnati,
right,
to see whether it's, seeing 5 and seeing 8 on a scoreboard, mentally
could mean something.
Could mean something.
And specifically in the case of Josh Naylor, a big day like that where you are the hero and you are the guy that avoided a complete disaster on our hands. You got to feel pretty good about that. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. You can also join us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. Jamie over on the YouTube says most position players don't give up 4 runs with 2 outs in the 9th with no one on base. It was just about as worse of a scenario that you could have seen play out in that game last night. And even though at times this season we have said that we expect the bullpen to melt down, I don't think any of us expect that in that spot, even after J Mart goes out with the injury. You don't expect them to not get the final out. Okay, a home run here, a home run there, you win 4-2, whatever. But to have the complete and utter collapse in the 9th inning, nobody, I think, can anticipate that, even with how bad this bullpen has been at times this season. When we come back, Justin Martinez, it's a sign that was all too familiar for us last night. A Diamondbacks pitcher waving the medical staff on the field. What is the latest on Justin Martinez, and where does the bullpen go from here? That's all next on the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
Hey listeners, Vince DeLisio from the Varsity Sports Show. Tune in Saturday morning. It's our Father's Day special. Our team will talk about their dads. Plus, we'll feature local coaches, and we launch our new segment spotlighting how our favorite high school administrators are spending their summer vacation. This week, we're joined by Mesa High AD David Klecken. Start your weekend off with a smile with the Varsity Sports Show Saturday morning from 9 to 11 on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona.
Thy ticket, Lady Jennifer of Coolidge.
Well, many thanks, good sir. Hereeth my Discover card.
They accept Discover at Renaissance fairs?
Yeah, they do here. Discover is accepted at the places I love to shop. Getteth with the times.
With the times? You're playing the lute.
Yeah, and it sounds pretty good, right?
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen Report.
Breaking Benjamin. Stay forever. And 3 Days Grace. Live. October 8th at Desert Diamond Arena with special guest Return to Dust. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Don't miss Breaking Benjamin and 3 Days Grace, presented by the Big Red Radio.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
I was in a wreck. I need a check.
way to go. I'm Kevin Rowe from Lerner Rowe, and we've been serving Arizonans for 20 years. Make the best choice after an accident. Call 977-1900. That's 977-1900.
Lerner Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900. 977-1900. Ooh, Del Taco?
Yep, they got these new boxes that are loaded with my faves.
Big boxes, come on, can I get a Del, yeah? Del, yeah. What was that?
Oh, I bring these guys everywhere. Really enhances the experience.
Introducing El Big Boxes from Del Taco. Choose from the $5 Classico, the $7 Mex Faves, and $9 Amerimex box. More food, more flavor, more value. Only at Del Taco.
Del, yeah. Price of participation may vary.
Jim Rome here with your Rome Report. Let me just say this right off the top. Game 2 of the NBA Finals went exactly as expected. You knew the Thunder would answer and bounce back after imploding in Game 1. There was no way this crew was just going to turtle, just as there was no way the Pacers, tough as they are, were going to rip 2 games in OKC's crib. This is a 68-win team with the league MVP, and when they absolutely had to, they played like it. Maybe you try to convince yourself that the moment was just too big for OKC when they blew that double-digit lead in Game 1. Then again, that's what the Pacers do to people. They come back from double-digit deficits and they punk you on your home floor. Not Sunday, though. The Thunder did what they do, jump on you early and choke you out. The Pacers still have the home court, and I do expect a better effort in their own barn, but it's going to have to be a hell of a lot better for them to stay in this series. I'm Jim Rome. You can follow me on Instagram at Jim Rome.
O'Reilly. You need parts? We got parts. Product availability? Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. Get one free set of brake pads when you buy 2 brake rotors. Upgrade to Brake Best Select brake pads for $10 more, or upgrade to Brake Best Select Pro or import direct pads for just $20. Offer in-store only. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. This Father's Day at Lowe's, score free gifts for the greatest dad. Right now, get a free Select DeWalt, Craftsman, or Cobalt tool with purchase of a Select battery kit. Plus, get a free Werner 2-foot aluminum ladder when you buy an 8-foot fiberglass ladder. Shop these deals and more this Father's Day at Lowe's. We help, you save. Valid through 6/15 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Welcome back into the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert with you here on the Tuesday edition of the show, recapping the Diamondbacks and their win last night, surviving in extra innings after blowing it in the 9th inning. And one of the main reasons why they blew it in that 9th inning is because of an injury to Justin Martinez in that 9th inning, humming it up there 101 miles an hour with that sinker, cruising along. That's the telltale sign for a pitcher. When the velocity starts to go, that's when you know something is wrong, right? Corbin Burns the other day, the cutter, velocity was down. Okay, something appears to be up. The first time that Justin Martinez went down with an injury, fatigue, soreness, whatever we wanted to call that previous stint on the injured list for Justin Martinez, what was the telltale sign? That appearance that he had against the Mets where the velocity on the sinker was sitting at 96, 97 miles an hour, 95 miles an hour. Guy who normally sits 99, 100 plus, that is enough of a difference that sends alarm bells off to everybody in the organization, the manager, pitching coach, medical staff, everybody immediately is on the edge of their seat when they see those radar gun numbers. Scares you. What scares you even more is when a pitcher, when an athlete, who is accustomed to fighting through pain, to battling through, to grinding it out. When a pitcher or any athlete turns to the dugout and motions for the training staff, that is potentially one of the worst images that you could see watching baseball. And it has happened twice to this team in the last week plus. In the last 8 days, twice has somebody on the mound for the Arizona Diamondbacks turned to the dugout and motioned for the training staff to come out there. First, it was Corbin Burns. We know how that ended up. Tommy John surgery, out for the remainder of this year, out for most, if not all of next year. And now we are going to go through this all again with Justin Martinez, who is going to undergo an MRI. So we're back on MRI watch, everybody, waiting for an update. We'll see how long it takes this time for us to find out what's going on with Justin Martinez. But the injuries to this ball club just keep piling up. So where do they go from here with their bullpen? Martinez going to get an MRI. I think best case scenario, he's going on the 15-day IL just like he did last time. That's best case scenario. Christian Montas de Aca also getting an MRI. He was not available yesterday before the game. Torrey told us he was banged up. He needed to go for some imaging. They already just lost Kendall Graveman to an injury. Christian Mena got shut down. I mean, the list goes on and on. Lost Corbin Burns. Lost Jordan Montgomery in spring. AJ Puck went down during the year. I mean, these injuries are just starting to pile up for this club. At what point do you say they can't overcome this anymore? At what point can you say they just don't have enough depth? You can prepare for a couple of injuries throughout the year. I don't know if you can prepare for what has happened to this team. They lost their closer. They lost their other closer. Their third closer, Kevin Ginkel, started the year on the injured list, came back, did not look himself. He got sent down to the minor leagues. Go look at Reno. Go look at Reno's injury list. Pitchers down there hurt as well. Injuries across the board for this organization. You're down your three closers. You're down your veteran that you signed late in the spring to give you some depth in Kendall Graveman. No team can afford to deal with the blows that this team is facing right now when it comes to their bullpen. And oh, by the way, on top of all of that, you have a bullpen that's underperforming even when these guys are healthy. So where do they go from here? What does this look like? Well, Justin Martinez is going to miss some time. Christian Montas de Aca looks like he's going to miss some time. So you got two arms that need to come up. You're limited right now. You want to talk about, we have a drop for this.
I'm a huge nerd.
I mean, we were looking at the 40-man roster and who can come off the 40-man roster and who can they transfer to the 60-day IL to free up a 40-man spot. I mean,
I'm a huge nerd.
We were getting nerdy in the pre-show. Rightfully so, because we want to bring you the best information. This team's 40-man roster is full right now. Corbin Burns already placed on the 60-day IL to free up his 40-man spot. Already done. Already filled. So unless they're going to put Justin Martinez or Montas de Aca on the 60-day to free up that roster spot, they are limited in what they can do. All they can do right now is send down somebody and call somebody up that is currently on the 40-man roster. So that's your Bryce Jarvis's, that's your Tommy Henry's, that's your Joel Mantepli's, that's your Kevin Ginkles. I mean, those are the guys that still are on this 40-man roster. Dre Jameson, who's banged up, so even he's not even an option, but that's who's available to this team on the 40-man roster right now. That's all they have, unless they're going to make a roster move and move somebody to the 60-day IL or designate somebody for assignment to free up a spot. And I'll tell you, I looked it over this morning. Not a ton of options to DFA guys. Not a ton of options of guys to transition right now to the 60-day IL. Haven't even placed Jamar on the 15-day IL. Haven't placed Christian Montas de Aca on the 15-day IL. Haven't even done those moves yet because you're still waiting for the information out of the MRI. So this bullpen right now, it is patchwork. I mean, we say this a lot when it comes to patchwork offensive lines or to patchwork bullpens. Does it not feel, Producer Evan, like this team is on a sinking ship, and they're plugging up the holes with the duct tape, and then new holes are forming and filling up the boat with water. And then the moment you have the new hole filled up, the old hole bust open, and now you got to get the duct tape and fix that one. It just feels like they are constantly plugging leaks right now, and they can never get to a stretch where you can sit back and just go, oh.
You ever seen the Flex Seal commercial?
They need some Flex Seal. They do not have what they're doing right now.
He's hitting that big water tank.
I'll tell you right now, the way the Diamondbacks are approaching fixing their bullpen, not using Flex Seal. Because Flex Seal might work. They pull out the big thing and they put it on the bottom of the boat, take the boat out on the water. Diamondbacks, if they did that right now, water would get in the boat.
It's one of the great commercials. As you would say, you're moving around deck chairs on Titanic.
Shuffling deck chairs on the Titanic. I mean, that is what this team is doing hardcore right now. Shuffling deck chairs on the Titanic. And that's what it feels like. I mean, before the season, all your closer options were the following. Justin Martinez, hurt. AJ Puck, hurt. Kevin Ginkel, hurt, came back, underperformed, sent down to Reno. Kendall Graveman was probably your emergency option. Hurt, came back, hurt again. Your top 4 relief options, all either hurt or were hurt, came back, didn't perform well. Just a group that has missed the mark. Some of it their fault, some of it not their fault. So where they go from here, I don't know. Because they're out of options. And it's too early to make any external moves, especially for a team that's below 500, especially for a team that is as many games out of the final wild card spot as they are right now. Doesn't feel like they're in a position to be buyers. So you just have to, and I hate to say this, they just have to get this group right. This group just has to perform well enough to get AJ Puck back. Hopefully, you don't get terrible, awful news for Justin Martinez. I'll tell you, what does my gut tell me? With the way this season has gone with injuries, I'm fearing the worst. I'm fearing him sitting right next to Corbin Burns. When 2 times this season we've seen his velocity drop, and he's dealing with fatigue, and he's dealing with general soreness, and now it's come back again, and he's got something that's a problem. It just does not spell out something that's going to end well for Justin Martinez. So I worry that you've lost Jamar for the year. That's just my gut. I don't know. That's just what my gut tells me. Part of it's because of the way the season has gone and the way the injuries have just stacked up for this squad. My gut tells me bad news there. And so you just have to try to find a way to salvage this to when you get AJ Puck back. Because just one solid reliever in one specific high leverage spot could help you. I don't think Shelby Miller's been terrible as of late. It was bumpy there for a little bit with him. I think he's been better. And so if we can get to a place where you get AJ Puck back for the 9th, you get Shelby Miller back for the 8th, you can feel a little bit better about the state of this bullpen. But they are just moving guys around left and right. They're going to call up more names today because they've got 2 open roster spots. They're going to call up 2 guys. Are those 2 guys going to be any good? It's going to be the same guys we've been seeing all year. The same guys who have been shuffling back and forth between Reno and the big leagues all season long. Because that's all they can do right now. They don't have a free roster spot. Not until they make a bigger move of shutting somebody down for the remainder of the season. Now, I'm hopeful that we don't have to have that conversation, but only when they do that will they open up a roster spot for themselves to potentially call up somebody else. I know they have Sean Reed Foley down in AAA, who they picked up. They have a Scott, Tyler Scott is down there in AAA. Both of those guys have to get added to a 40-man roster right now that is landlocked. There's no room. They have to create that room. And so until they make the moves that create that room, you're going to have to use the guys that are still on the 40-man roster. And we've seen all of them so far this season. The only one we haven't seen, Andrew Saalfrank, who's coming back from the gambling suspension, is back with the team, was reinstated. He's working his way back. I don't think he's an option probably for the next couple of weeks. Best case scenario.
Yeah, I think earlier you and I said not till probably July 1st.
Yeah.
Just makes sense for him to get up and throwing and get a few innings under his belt before he comes up here. And I just don't see that happening before at least the last week of June.
At least. I mean, remember, the guy was away from baseball, away from the team for over a year. I mean, it's a little unfair to be like, hey, man, in 3 weeks, can you be up and ready and pitching for the big league bullpen to save our season?
Unfortunately, they're in a position where they might have to ask that.
They might have to ask that question. Yes, you are 100% right. They may have to ask that question because they are running out of options. They are, we say all the time, going through the depth. They are really going through their depth. They don't have any depth left. When we come back, your phone calls always 480-864-1060. Your thoughts always welcome on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. The Kevin Durant trade. All the different layers to this onion. One layer in particular stands out to me. We'll explore it next. It's the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
The legacy continues. Pantera. The heaviest tour of the summer. Tearing up Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater, August 26th. With Amon Amarth. On sale now at LiveNation.com. Part of the America First Credit Union Concert Series.
Make a splash. Assign a water watcher to help keep kids safe. A water watcher is a capable adult who knows how to swim and perform CPR in case of emergency. Make sure they put away any distractions and actively monitor everyone in the group while around water. After everyone is done swimming, water watchers should scan the bottom of the pool and close and lock the pool gate behind them. Ready for more water safety tips? Visit srp.net/pool.
A noisy garage door is a cry for help that often requires only simple maintenance. However, if left untreated, could lead to costly repairs. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello from A1 Garage Door Service. Don't wait until a simple garage door repair becomes a major problem. If your garage door is noisy, if bugs are getting in, or if it struggles to open, your garage door is in need of repair. From simple repairs to upgrades, it's A1 from day one. We fix garage doors fast and with quality parts designed to last a lifetime. Our springs, rollers, and openers are tested by running them up and down, open and closed, all day, 24/7, so you can feel confident with every A1 garage door repair. Replacing the bottom rubber on your garage door can have a huge impact on the number of bugs you see in your garage and in your home. Keep those creepy crawlers outside by calling A1 Garage Door Service today and receive the best service, best parts, and best warranty in the industry.
A1Garage.com. A1 from day one.
Call today and take advantage of our $29.95 tune-up special.
If you're trying to get through your daily activities and you're noticing you can't because you're focusing more on your pain than being able to enjoy the moment, those are the patients that we're looking to treat because we can make a difference.
That's Dr. Ashley Caravelli, a medical director for QC Kinetics.
What we're doing at QC Kinetics is offering treatments that help with joint preservation. We use cutting-edge technology in our in-house lab to harness your body's natural healing powers and target the areas where you need them the most.
These are regenerative, non-surgical treatments, and QC Kinetics is the nation's leader, delivering lasting relief to tens of thousands of patients.
What we do know is that the sooner we start treatment, the sooner you'll see relief.
So don't wait another minute. See if you're a good candidate for these non-surgical treatments for joint pain. The consultation is completely free.
Call QC Kinetics, 602-691-6641. That's 602-691-6641. 602-691-6641.
Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Back here on the lunch break, want to remind you can listen for your chance to win 4 tickets to the Diamondbacks when they take on the San Diego Padres this Sunday, June 15th at Chase Field. Name a better way to spend Father's Day. We'll wait. Spend a day with Dad at Chase Field and get them the Father's Day polo shirt. Only the first 15,000 dads will receive one. We've got your chance to win 4 tickets for listening on the KDUS AM 1060 app or streaming us over on KDUS1060.com. Make sure you're registered and logged in while you are listening. Make sure you get entered. Also, you can get your tickets over at dbacks.com/SGT.
We can't guarantee you the shirt.
No, you've got, see, let me make it very clear. This is a station giveaway, okay? This is a listener reward for listening on the app. The reward is, if you get picked, we give you the 4 tickets to the game. That's it. We hand you 4 tickets. Not really, it's virtual these days, but we hand you 4 tickets to the game. If you want, as in the promo copy that I have here, the Father's Day polo shirt, you've got to then be one of the first 15,000 dads, okay? All we're doing is giving you the tickets.
Can't be 15,001.
No, that's on you then, not on me. I've given
15,000, but don't be 15,001.
Don't be 15,001. So that's on Sunday, or you can get your tickets over at dbacks.com/SGT. The Kevin Durant trade, which is the next phase of this Suns offseason that we have moved into. Front office restructure, done. Coaching search, extensive, long, wide casting net, completed. Jordan Knott's our guy. Now this team can transition into the summer of Durant, as we have proclaimed it here on the program. And this is the most important thing that they're going to do this offseason. More important than hiring Brian Gregory, more important than hiring Jordan Knott, more important than
the alignment.
Trading Kevin Durant is the most important thing this team is going to do this summer, because it is going to set them up for the future if they handle it correctly. And so we, yes, spend a lot of time focusing on the Kevin Durant trade and the different layers that come with it. And there is a layer that is really standing out to me that I don't know how important it is on the priority list for the Phoenix Suns, but it is something that could change this team's fortunes. And that is getting under that second apron. And I'm not the only one who thinks this, because Bobby Marks yesterday wrote a story over for ESPN, NBA offseason 2025, 10 teams to watch this summer. And to nobody's surprise, because they have arguably, with Giannis not going anywhere, at least that's the way the reporting is trending, Kevin Durant is the prize trade acquisition that we think is available this summer, unless there's a Luka Doncic type trade sitting out there with another player that we don't know about. Kevin Durant is the belle of the ball. He is the crown jewel that everybody that is a contender, that is trying to push themselves over the top, are probably going to be interested in going after Kevin Durant. And so no surprise that the Suns were one of his 10 teams. And the Kevin Durant trade was the focus for Marks in this column. And here is what he had to say about this trade. Quote, after 2 underachieving and expensive seasons, the Suns will likely reset their roster, starting with exploring trades for the All-Star. Durant is in the last year of his contract, and without an extension or trade, the Suns risk losing him for nothing next offseason. And he goes on to say, there are 3 factors that could play a role in the trade package Phoenix could receive. And this first part is, I think, one of the most important layers to this onion. Quote, can Phoenix drop below the second apron to aggregate contracts sent out, or below the first apron to use more than 100% of the traded player exception? The Suns are a projected $25 million over the second apron, but could shed significant salary if Cody Martin is waived, Micic's $8.1 million team option is declined, and Bradley Beal is bought out of his contract. The same apron rules apply to teams interested in acquiring Durant's $54.6 million salary. So with Martin and Micic, that's $16.8 million that they can shed in options that they just get rid of. They waive Cody Martin. They decline the team option. They're $25 million over the second apron. They can get 16.8 of it back immediately with those 2 moves, really setting themselves up nicely to potentially drop under that second apron. And the options that it opens up for you by getting under that second apron, and it changes how you have to navigate a potential Kevin Durant trade. It changes the limitations on you in a trade. It's the reason why when we got to January and February and we were talking about trades with the Phoenix Suns, why they were limited in what they could do, they could only swap out contracts 1 for 1. They couldn't aggregate contracts together and trade for one player. They could not do that because they were a second apron team. It's why it was trade Bradley Beal or bust. That's why it was at the last second, trade Kevin Durant or you're not doing anything at the deadline. And so getting under that second apron is critical. How critical, though? Is it critical enough to where you would take back a lesser package just to make sure you got under the second apron? Is it critical enough to where it's going to complicate what teams are able to be involved in trading for Kevin Durant, ergo lessening the package that you can get back for Kevin Durant? I think many of us just assume how simple this can be. It's Kevin Durant. He's still a star. He still puts a team over the top. The suitors are going to be lining up, ready to offer draft picks and players for Kevin Durant. Sure. In an ideal world, that's how it would work. This is reality. This is the real world, where the Suns are a second apron team right now, where other teams might be above the first apron and then could be above the second apron if they trade for Kevin Durant. Maybe they don't want to do that. Maybe there are already existing second apron teams that would love Kevin Durant but can't make that work. All of it impacts on the Suns side and on the team that is trading for him side, the ability for the Suns to get exactly what they want back. To me, the Suns have decided with their
alignment,
resetting, not retooling, not rebuilding, not tearing it down, but resetting a little bit, right? Just kind of on the fly, tweaking a little bit. If you're going to do that, you're admitting that you're going to take a small step backwards. Now, they may win more games next season. Might actually be a better, more cohesive team. I've always said that. But they are going to take a step backwards. And if you're going to take a step backwards, it would be stupid to be a second apron team and hinder your ability to make trades, hinder your ability to be involved in the goings-on of the NBA. Don't limit the tools in your toolbox. You want to reset, retool. You don't want to rebuild. You're retooling this. You're resetting this. Have all the tools available to you. Get under that second apron. The first apron, that's going to be a tough thing to do just with how much money they are behind it. But getting under that second apron, giving yourself all those resources again, yes, it should be one of the main priorities for this organization in this draft, in this trade of Kevin Durant and in this offseason. Reset your tax money. Don't be one of the highest tax-paying organizations in the NBA for a team that's barely going to be 500 next season.
You need to learn from the mistake you made and adjust, right? I think it was Wendy who said it on the podcast yesterday that we cut up and played clips. This team and this owner wants to win.
Yes.
But he doesn't have it figured out for this CBA. And when he figures it out, adjust to it. Get under the second apron. Like you said, it's probably almost impossible for them to get under the first.
In one offseason, yes.
But this offseason, you get under the second. You give yourself some wiggle room.
Mm-hmm.
Now we can maneuver around. And if it is what you said, if it is a retool, then you're going to have to wiggle. You're just going to have to move. That's what it is. That's what this league is. So get under the second apron. And now you're in a position where you can start to make some real moves.
Many have thought that the Kevin Durant trade would get done by the draft, right? That's kind of been a long-standing theory because they would want some draft picks back in a potential trade, and so they'd like to be able to use those picks on draft night. I wonder if there's another move that they're going to do first to help them get under the second apron before trading Kevin Durant. As we mentioned, Martin and Micic gets you 16.8 of the projected 25. You got to make up the other around 10 million someplace else. And so is there another move in the works that they do before they trade KD to get themselves under the second apron before they trade Durant so that they can get maybe more players back? And yes, they may go back over the second apron by doing so, but they get more players in. Now they have more chips that they can trade out. Because again, once you're over the second apron, it's one player in, one player out. You can't aggregate. But if you have more players, if you have more options, then that allows you to be more creative. The Suns were limited because they had three players that they could really trade: Durant, Beal, Booker. That was it. If you get under the second apron, you trade Durant, you get back a bunch of contracts, you get back a bunch of picks, right? And by a bunch, maybe 2 and 2 picks, 2 players. You can now maybe spin one of those higher salaried players out to a team that wants to take on that salary, get more draft pay, and you can just start moving stuff around. But you have to get under the second apron first before all of that creativity opens up for you. Without it, I wonder if it severely limits and hinders what this team's going to be able to get back in a trade. Then you have to add in a third team. We saw how difficult that was with the Bradley Beal stuff at the deadline. Just not an area that I want to mess around with. Or if you believe some people like Bill Simmons, the deal's already done and he's going to San Antonio. So I just wasted my time outlining all that for you. I don't think that's true. I know a lot of people ran with that yesterday. I really don't think that deal is done.
I don't either.
Too many other things the Suns were working
Bill
on.
Simmons has a pretty cult following, and he does a great job. I'm a Bill Simmons fan.
Bill's great.
But he is people that think his word is gospel,
which it's
in
not.
The NBA.
There's enough times for, and listen, in this business, I'm going to have takes that are right. I'm going to have takes that are wrong. When you're wrong, you just own up to it. When you're right, you're right. You just want to have more on the right side than on the wrong side. And with Bill, I think he has more right than wrong, but not everything he says is correct. He goes on these rants about the NBA conspiracy all the time, right? He puts on the tinfoil hat. He's not always right when he says those things. 480-864-1060, the phone number. You can also join us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. When we come back, wrapping up what has been a fast-paced hour number one of the program. We appreciate you joining us here on the Tuesday edition of the show. A little buy or sell. Producer Evan has the topics and the takes. I'm either buying or selling what he is saying next. It's the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KDUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
Ghost World Tour 2025. Ghost Theatrical Heavy Metal Arena Rock. August 11th, Footprint Center. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Don't miss Ghost.
Looking to sell your home? Hi, I'm Andrew the Home Buyer, and I love making it easy to sell your house. I'll personally come and give you a cash offer the same day we meet, and I'll beat any other offer. It really is that easy to sell your home, and no need to clean or fix anything. I'll buy it in as-is condition. Call me, Andrew the Home Buyer, today to get your same-day cash offer. Visit andrewthehomebuyer.com.
The Kia Summer Sticker Sales Event is going on now at Mark Kia, where you can receive up to $500 bonus cash on some of our most popular models.
Right now, you can lease a brand new 2025 Kia Sorento for just $189 a month for 24 months with $39.95 due at signing. That's right, a brand new Kia for under $200 a month.
Go to markkia.com to check out our current selection of inventory not affected by future tariff changes. The names, remember, Mark Kia, Mark Kia. 10,000 miles per year lease. Payment plus tax, title, license. Offer expires July 7, 2025.
We're chatting with our guest, always safety first, 811 Megaphone Man.
Call 811 before you dig.
You never stray from your mission of letting homeowners, landscapers, and excavators know you should always call 811 before you dig.
Call 811.
Call for both small and big jobs. And 2 working days in advance?
811.
Any parting words? And I'm guessing they will be...
Call 811 before you dig.
Brought to you by Southwest Gas.
811.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh, my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Back here on the lunch break. Let's waste no time. It's buy or sell here to close out hour number one of the program. Producer Evan, remind me at some point in hour number two, I need to get on my soapbox. Something happened at PHX Arena last night. Not specific to the arena, but something that happened while I was down there that is just It is an etiquette crime, and I need to discuss it with everybody. So remind me about that now, number 2, please.
I sure will. Getting into buy or sell, a Kevin Durant trade won't happen until after the NBA draft.
Sell. I think the Suns want to draft picks in their potential haul for KD. I think they want to take swings this year with young players, multiple young players. Right now they have 1 pick. They pick 29th. They have Cleveland's spot. They'd love to get more picks in this year's class, I think, to take more swings, to give more young players to Jordan Ott to develop. And then right away, do these guys have it? Do these guys not have it? What do we need to add to this roster? It's a very quick evaluation process if you do it that way. So I'll sell this. I think they will want draft picks to be able to take some swings with some young players in this draft.
The D-backs should entertain bringing in Craig Kimbrell after he was DFA'd by the Braves.
So he was sitting down in the minors for Atlanta, and he had a option in his contract where any other big league team could offer him a major league deal. And if that got triggered, the Braves had 2 options. They could either let him go to that team or they could call him up. In the wake of their meltdown, you want to talk about a meltdown, their meltdown against the Diamondbacks the other night in the 9th inning or the other day led them to calling up Craig Kimbrell to add to their bullpen. He made 1 appearance. I asked you how good he was because he got DFA'd right after it. I asked you to look it up. 1 inning, didn't allow a run. Seemed fine.
Yeah, I think it was 1 hit, 1 inning.
Is he the Craig Kimbrell of old? No. But you know what? Beggars can't be choosers, and the Diamondbacks are not in position to be choosers right now.
I know he's not, Atlanta Craig Kimbrell, but he was productive in Philadelphia 2 years ago. And before the All-Star break, he was productive as an Oriole. He's still a Hall of Famer.
I hate to say this. He's a healthy arm. The Diamondbacks don't have enough of those right now. So any healthy arm that has a decent track record, yes. Join the club, please. Need you on the team. Bye.
The Cardinals can't lean as heavily on the run game if they want offensive success in 2025.
Ooh, this is a good one. I will buy this. I think the running game is their identity. The running game is what they want to be as a club, mainly because James Conner is just fantastic. He's been awesome since getting here. But you want to compete in the NFC playoffs, got to be able to throw the ball.
Yeah.
And you can't be one-dimensional. You just can't. And I think they're going to have that extra dimension over the course of the season. Late in the 4th quarter when I have a lead, yeah, you betcha I'm leaning on my run game. I'm leaning on James Conner. I'm leaning on my defense. I'm milking the clock. I'm grinding this one out, especially if I'm on the road against a tough team, tough opponent. But I got to be able to score points. I got to be able to get to 30. You cannot play a run-first, defense-first style where you're trying to win every game 24-17. It's just not going to work in today's NFL. You're going to get burned by it.
And how many times did we really see the offense open up the passing game last year? Other than that week 2 Rams game, it's hard to circle one where you're like, oh.
In Buffalo, they looked good the first week of the season offensively.
Yeah,
scored a ton of points in the first half. But as the season went on, that Monday night game against the Chargers, defense and run game, great. I think in a 1-week sample size, you can win games like that. You got to score points in this league if you want to be successful. And the way you score points isn't by controlling the clock and grinding the game to a halt and running the football. It's just not. You got to be able to air it out. You have to have playmakers. You have to be able to throw the football. And so do they have to be the Chiefs? Do they have to be the Bills, the Bengals? Do they have to be those high-octane passing offenses? No, they do not. They just need to have a little bit more on their plate with their passing offense.
Giannis Antetokounmpo will not be traded in the offseason.
Bye. All of the reporting on this is pointing in that direction. It's been all quiet. Seems like teams are pivoting their focus to Kevin Durant. I will buy this. Giannis is going nowhere this offseason.
Good news for the Suns there.
Huge news for the Suns. Absolutely.
We watched it in the morning meeting because I didn't see it till this morning. But Denzel Clark's catch last night is a top 5 in Major League Baseball history.
If any of you are like producer Evan and did not see this catch last night by Denzel Clark of the Athletics, it is the greatest catch I think I have ever seen. I will buy that this is a top 5 catch. This is the greatest catch I think I have ever seen. We talk about robbery and taking a home run away. Whatever you think about a home run robbery, this is even more of a robbery than that. He literally took the ball away from being 5 feet past the fence.
He's hanging on the fence.
Absolutely incredible. Go out of your way to find this catch if you haven't seen it today. Yes, it is the best catch that I have seen in a really long time and a top 5 catch in the history of the game. Hour number 1 of the program in the books. Hour number 2 right around the corner. Appreciate you joining us here. It's the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Hosier presents the Unreal Unearthed Tour 2025 live in Phoenix. Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater, October 7th. With special guest, Amble. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The #1 album, Unreal Unearthed, is available everywhere. For more, visit hosier.com.
Hi, everyone. I'm Gina Bryan, owner of Precision Air and Plumbing, the Valley's #1 ranked AC company.
Wait a minute, honey. That's my line.
Well, Eric, not anymore. And people don't know we truly are a family-owned business because you always do the commercials.
But I like it that way.
If your family needs quality AC or plumbing, call the #1 rated family-owned business in Arizona.
Well, can I at least tell them how to reach us?
Go ahead, Eric.
Call us today at 602-FIX-MY-AC. That's 602-FIX-MY-AC.
As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
A noisy garage door is a cry for help. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, owner at A1 Garage Door Service. Most repairs are simple, but if left untreated, they can turn into costly repairs. Your garage door works hard every day, and a little maintenance goes a long way. We fix garage doors fast with quality parts designed to last a lifetime. From repairs to upgrades, it's A1 from day one. Call A1 Garage Door Service, and you'll be smiling today.
A1Garage.com. A1 from day one.
Come visit the all-new Wecopa Casino Resort, formerly Fort McDowell Casino. Whether you're visiting for slots, table games, the Valley's favorite bingo hall, golf, or food, our new smoke-free casino resort is the place to be. Enjoy a fine dining experience like no other at Ember, or go for the lively crowd at WKP Sportsbook and Bar. Wecopa offers 2 top 10 golf courses in the state, and the resort with heated pools and cabanas is the perfect place to relax. Come experience Wecopa Casino Resort today. At Wecopa, we have the best of it all.
Summertime savings are heating up at Mark Mazda in Scottsdale.
Right now, we have 1.9% financing on some of our most popular models, like the 2025 Mazda CX-70.
The name to remember? Mark Mazda. Mark Mazda. 36-month term on a credit plus $998.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
12 o'clock hour of the program. Chris Schubert with you. Appreciate you all joining us on the Tuesday edition of the program. Our top story of the day, the Diamondbacks blowing it in the 9th inning. Justin Martinez getting hurt. Them finding a way to win in extra innings. And now where we go from here as another injury has started to pile up for this Diamondbacks team. Just have so many pitchers that are landing on the injured list so far this season. And it has led me to one place in particular. And it's a place that I didn't think we would get to, that I didn't think this team would need to be. Because if you'll remember, in the offseason, the Diamondbacks made a choice. They let Jock Peterson go. They let Christian Walker go. And they admitted, we played the cut at the time of Mike Hazen talking about how he understood that by letting those guys go, that no matter who the replacements were, that the offense was going to take a step backwards from the team that they were in 2024, admitting basically that they needed to lean more into run prevention than run creation. And then we saw that play out with the main addition of their offseason being Corbin Burns to the tune of $210 million. Run prevention over run creation. And so we went into the season going, hey, this is one of the best rotations they've ever put together. If everybody pitches to the back of their baseball card, you've got 2 Cy Young candidates. You have an often forgotten about number 3 in Merrill Kelly. You have young players like Brendan Pfaadt and Ryan Nelson, a part of your rotation. And you just have a veteran who's been around the block a couple of times and is going to eat up innings for you in Eduardo Rodriguez. One of the best rotations in the game, maybe the best rotation in the game, setting you up to go toe-to-toe with the Dodgers. Hey, they've got a great offense. Great. We're going to have excellent pitching to match up with that offense. We're going to silence those bats. That's how we spoke about this team at the start of the year. I am ready on June 10th to flip the script on everybody. And I'm ready to flip the script out of sheer necessity. The injuries continue to stack up for this ball club. They have lost Corbin Burns for the remainder of this season. They have, throughout this year, gone through all 4 of their closer options, and all 4 of those closer options have been hurt and mistimed this season. Justin Martinez, now it looks like for the second time this year, is going to land on the injured list. AJ Puck has been sitting on the injured list for a majority of this season, and we are desperately awaiting his return to the bullpen. Kevin Ginkel missed the start of the year because of an injury. Kendall Graveman, who they brought in spring, hurt and missed time at the start of the season. The injuries just won't stop to this bullpen, to this pitching staff. And so now, instead of wondering aloud, what can they do down there? What guys can they call up from Reno? What adjustments can they make? I am now going to flip the script. This is now on the Diamondbacks offense. This is now on the Bats to be the team that they were a year ago, to be the team that Mike Hazen said aloud they didn't need to be going into this season. They need to be an offensive juggernaut. They need Corbin Carroll to be MVP Corbin Carroll. They need Ketel Marte to be MVP Ketel Marte. They need Josh Naylor to have more nights like he did last night. They need Geraldo Perdomo to continue to have the career year that he is having. They need Pavin Smith to be a top-tier DH option. They need to have a top-flight, one of the best in the big leagues offenses. Now, the good news about that, as I effort to get the exact numbers in front of me, they're doing a pretty decent job of that so far this season. This is not an offense that I'm asking to go from being a bottom third of the league offense to a top third of the league offense. This is an offense that's already in the top half, that's already in the upper echelon of offenses. I'm just asking it to stay there and get a little bit better. 10th in average, 4th in on-base percentage, 3rd in OPS, 5th in run scores, 4th in home runs. That's what this offense has been this season. Do you want to understand why this is where I'm pivoting to today? Starting pitching, 25th in ERA, 21st in home runs per 9, 14th in hits per 9, 20th in walks per 9, 12th in strikeouts per 9. The bullpen, it's even worse, 27th in ERA, 23rd in walks per 9, 27th in hits per 9, 29th in home runs per 9 from your relief pitchers. The pitching just isn't getting it done. And I'm sorry, how can you expect it to get it done when they're running out of their top flight, top tier, highest leverage options? We are about to play a stretch of baseball for this team. This team's about to go through a stretch where they're going to be without Justin Martinez more than likely. They're going to continue to be without AJ Puck. Kevin Ginkel's going to be down there in Reno. Kendall Graveman's on the injured list. Shelby Miller is going to be right back in to being the closer of this ball club. When in spring, he was one of the last guys to make the team, was a bright spot in spring with how well he pitched, and was a great story that he made the bullpen. But nobody envisioned when he made the team in spring that when it got to June and the season was hanging in the balance, that he would be asked to be the closer of the ball club. If I told you that in spring, you would have said that the season was over. You would have said that the season collapsed in front of all of our eyes. So I can't ask that group to all of a sudden find it. I can't ask a group that is just the flights from Reno to Phoenix are just littered with Diamondbacks players. The pilots just know them by a first name basis at this point, flying them back and forth. And it's not working. Anybody that they've called up hasn't fixed this problem.
You would have to imagine that the flight from Reno to Phoenix and Phoenix to Reno isn't full.
That's where you want to go with this?
Well, I just was thinking of that in my head.
Reno's a nice vacation spot. I'm sure there are plenty of people from Phoenix that want to get away to Reno.
I'm sure.
There's also a lot of pitchers coming back and forth between Reno and Chase Field.
A lot of bullpen arms.
A lot of bullpen arms making that trek as well, racking up the frequent flyer miles. And so they're out of options. I'm not going to look in the minor leagues and say, oh, even though he's injured, Dre Jameson's going to fix this. Or, oh, Tommy Henry is going to fix this. If you expect the arms that this team still has left available to them are going to fix this, then we are doomed. This team is not going to turn it around. So it's going to rely on the offense. It's going to rely on the team that is fifth in runs scored to be even better than that. It is going to rely on a team that is fourth in home runs to be even better than that. Fourth in on-base percentage to be even better than that. 10th in average to be even better than that. And I don't think, compare the two. Ask the offense to do more or ask the pitching staff to do more. I feel way more comfortable asking this lineup to do more because you know what? I know what Corbin Carroll can be when he's firing on all cylinders. Takes the first pitch of the game opposite field last night. I know what Ketel Marte can be when he is firing on all cylinders. I watched just as well as you did the first half of Ketel Marte's season last year where he was battling blow for blow Shohei Ohtani to be the NL MVP. I don't think it's out of the question to ask Josh Naylor to be the best version of himself and to be more like the guy that we saw last night. That wasn't an out of the blue experience for Josh Naylor last night. That's who he can be as a hitter every single day. You need Lourdes Gurriel and Eugenio Suarez to step up and be the veterans for this team. You need Pavin Smith to heat back up again. But it's all right in front of them because unlike the pitching staff, unlike the bullpen, the only injury this team is facing right now is being down Gabby Moreno. They've got every other key bat in their lineup. So today, we are making the pivot. Instead of wondering what changes and tweaks this team can make to their bullpen and to their pitching staff, I'm going into every single night circling the magic number. You got to score 7 runs or more. I mean, you just have to every single night. This has to be Big 12, old school, Saturday night on ABC football, Oklahoma, Texas Tech. I mean, it's got to be 45-38 with 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. That's what the Diamondbacks need to be if they want to. They don't need to be this all season, but if they want to save their season, they need to be this long enough for A.J. Puck to come back. They need to be this long enough to get their season back on the rails to where Mike Hazen can go out and buy at the deadline. That's what this team needs to do because producer Evan did an excellent job in the morning meeting. He ran the numbers. We've long said on this program, 89, 90 wins is the magic number we think that you're going to have to get to at least be in the mix here, right? And so producer Evan ran the math. And over the last 3 seasons, there have been 5 teams that have specifically ended with an 89-73 record. 3 of them happened to be last season's 3 NL wildcard teams. The Mets, the Braves, and the Diamondbacks who just missed on a tiebreaker. And then there were 2 other teams. And so I wanted to look. So I asked producer Evan to do this. Of those 5 teams, tell me what those squads did in the first half so I can get a gauge on what this team needs to try to do, what their North Star needs to be. So you ran the math, producer Evan. I will let you share the math with the audience of what those 5 teams, 4 of the 5 made the playoffs. The only one that didn't was last year's Diamondbacks. What those teams did in the first half of their season, and then compare it to where the Diamondbacks sit after last night at 32-34.
So at the end of June, 5 teams that finished 89 and 73 in the last couple of years. The 22 Padres, the 23 Blue Jays, 24 D-backs, Braves, Mets from last year as well. The Mets finished June at 40 and 41.
1 game below 500.
1 game below 500, and that was the historic comeback season, so take that with a grain of salt.
Yep.
The 24 Braves were 10 games over 500, 46 and 36. The Diamondbacks fell to 2 games below 500 at 41 and 43 by the end of June last year. The 23 Blue Jays were 7 games above 500 with 45 and 38. And the 22 Padres were the best of all the teams, 14 games over 500, 46 and 32.
A lot of winning baseball among that group that finished with 89 wins, at least 89 wins over the last couple of years, finishing specifically with an 89 and 73 record. A lot of winning in the early part of the season, a lot of teams, a lot of games above 500. And so with that math in mind, and the 2 outliers being a couple of teams that were below 500, the Diamondbacks being one of them, did not make it. The Mets being 1 game below 500, and they had a historical comeback going from being 10 games below 500 and turning it around to being one of the best teams in baseball into the second half. And you're seeing what they're doing to start this season. They're one of the best teams in baseball now. So they turned it around and they saved their season because they just started playing to the back of their baseball cards. So I think for us to even entertain this still is a possibility to where they can get to 89 wins if that number is what is required to make the playoffs. You've got to get to 500, and you've got to do it sooner rather than later. You've got to do exactly what you did last week against Atlanta, sweep to get back to 500, and then build off of that. Don't then immediately give it away the next series up in Cincinnati. And so the way you do that, the way you rapidly and quickly get back to 500 is you just start stacking series win after series win after series win. And then before you know it, this team is going to be back hovering at or above 500, and then we can seriously entertain a second half run that this team can go on. But it is going to be on the backs of this offense. It is not going to be on the back of this pitching staff. It is not going to be on the back of this bullpen. It is going to absolutely rest on the shoulders of the offense. And I know that that is a tough ask when they are top 10 in almost any category. They are going to have to drive this bus if this season is going to continue to be relevant into July. It's just that simple. The offense has to be not just good, not just great. The offense needs to be excellent. They need to be excellent. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here on the program. We can also hop in over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. John over there says, why didn't Carroll bunt in extra innings? I don't even want to entertain this, but I will at least answer it, John. You don't ask one of your best players to bunt in extra innings. If you're going to bunt in extra innings to move the runner over, you're going to do it with somebody who is not one of your better overall hitters. You're not going to ask Corbin Carroll, who with one swing can put the ball in the gap and end the game, to bunt and give away. That's not the at-bat that I'm going to give away. Because you're giving away an out, you're giving up an at-bat. I am not going to do that with Corbin Carroll. Not even the thought crossed my mind to bunt with Carroll in extras last night. When we come back, it is mandatory minicamp starting today for the Arizona Cardinals. So what are we focusing on as the season draws closer? That's next on the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
Hey listeners, Vince DeLisio from the Varsity Sports Show. Tune in Saturday morning. It's our Father's Day special. Our team will talk about their dads. Plus, we'll feature local coaches, and we launch our new segment spotlighting how our favorite high school administrators are spending their summer vacation. This week, we're joined by Mesa High AD David Klecken. Start your weekend off with a smile with the Varsity Sports Show Saturday morning from 9 to 11 on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona.
As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family. Injured? Dial #law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Jaw-dropping stunts, high-flying tricks, heart-pounding excitement. Nitro Circus is back. The all-new off-the-rails tour. Gravity-defying thrill seekers and world-class daredevils at the top of their game. FMX, BMX, skate, scooter, and everything in between. Experience all new competitions that pit the best against the best in never-been-done showdowns. Nitro Circus. Friday, December 5th. Desert Diamond Arena. Join the action at Ticketmaster.com.
Welcome to Disneyland.
Get excited to join the Disneyland Resort 70th celebration. Because it's not a celebration without you. With all the decor, the new character outfits, and dazzling shows. Everyone's excited to join. Delight in special 70th experiences, like an all-new World of Color show. The returning favorite, Paint the Night Parade, and so much more, only for a limited time. So come join us for this once-in-a-lifetime celebration with a special ticket offer as low as $100 per day with a special 4-day, 1-park-per-day ticket. Total price $400. Valid May 16 through August 14, 2025. Park ticket and reservation required. Visit Disneyland.com/70 ticket offer for details. Offering subject to capacity restrictions and change without notice.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. The NFL offseason is an arms race. Contending teams load up through trades, the draft, and free agency. But as we approach July, those avenues start to dry up. That doesn't mean the roster building is over, at least not yet. This is the time when teams begin evaluating expensive veterans, weighing production against the salary cap. Take Jair Alexander, once a star cornerback in Green Bay and a 2-time Pro Bowler. He helped anchor a defense that became a playoff fixture. At just 28, he can still help a team, and maybe help a team a lot. But with the Packers facing cap pressures and some questions about his durability, the team decided to move on. No, there won't be any bidding war at his doorstep, but make no mistake, this isn't the end of the offseason. It's just a different phase. Quiet moves in June and July often become loud stories in November. So if your team is in the hunt, keep some cap space ready, because somebody is going to be available. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. Not everyone who handles your personal information is going to be as careful as you are. It takes just one mistake, and then all of a sudden you're exposed to hackers and identity thieves. That's why there's a new victim of identity theft every 5 seconds in the United States. But fortunately, there's LifeLock. LifeLock is going to monitor hundreds of millions of data points a second for threats to your identity. If your identity is stolen, a LifeLock US-based restoration specialist will help solve it, guaranteed, or your money back. Plus, LifeLock plans are all backed by the $1 Million Protection Package, meaning LifeLock will reimburse you up to the limits of your plan if you lose money due to identity theft. You can't control how diligent other people are with your information, but with LifeLock, you can help protect it. Right now, save up to 40% off your first year. Promo code Patrick at LifeLock.com. So save up to 40% with the promo code Patrick at LifeLock.com. Terms apply. LifeLock, for the threats you can't control.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Make sure you download the KDUS AM 1060 app. You can take us with you on the go. You also have a chance to win prizes, like a 4-pack of tickets to the Diamondbacks when they take on the San Diego Padres this Sunday, June 15th at Chase Field. They have a better way to spend Father's Day. We'll wait. Spend a day with Dad at Chase Field and get them the Father's Day polo shirt. Only the first 15,000 dads will receive one. You can enter your chance to win those 4 tickets by listening over on the KDUS AM 1060 app or streaming us on KDUS1060.com. Make sure you're registered and logged in while you are listening. And I believe we've got one more day left on that before we will pick the winner. It is mandatory minicamp day across the National Football League. I believe there are 24 teams whose minicamp opens up today. And producer Evan, you a minicamp guy, or is it really training camp, full-blown training camp when there's preseason games that football itch starts to really swell up?
Minicamp's always a little interesting just because you have holdouts and stuff like that really start to come to a head here in minicamp. But no, I would say the itch really starts around training camp. Right when the Phillies start to, get swept by a bad team in the middle of, end of July.
That's when you go into Eagles mode.
And you're like, Eagles are coming back.
So yeah, that's when you move into Eagles mode. Yeah. Minicamp, with everybody being there and not just OTAs where it's voluntary, minicamp is kind of our, it's like the appetizer, just kind of the first little taste. You don't learn a whole lot, but it is nice to see football activity being done. It gets us kind of in the mood for football. And so what are we going to be focusing on? What are our major takeaways from mandatory minicamp? And I won't lie, I'm not looking for much. Be healthy. Nobody get hurt. Nobody get banged up here during minicamp. Be healthy. Just a nice, non-newsworthy minicamp is goal number one, at least for me. Right? That's anytime training camp, spring training, you just want it to be, you don't want any news. No news is good news. You don't want anybody, he's dealing with a thing, and then the thing becomes an even bigger thing. Guy's out for the season. You don't need any of that stuff. Cardinals are already kind of dealing with that. They just lost Sean Murphy Bunting for the whole season before we even got to off-season workouts. So you don't want any other news right now. You just want a nice, free, easy, boring, not a whole lot going on minicamp. ESPN asked all of their beat writers to share what they're keeping an eye on during training camp. And for the NFC West and for the Cardinals, Josh Weinfuss asked this question: how has Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison's Jr. chemistry improved over the offseason? Quote, Harrison was good as a rookie, but there were several noticeable miscommunications with Murray, who's entering his 7th season. The two spent considerable time together during the offseason, opting to work out in Arizona. But how will it pay off? Minicamp will give a brief glimpse into their timing and execution. And boy, does it feel like we're just heaping everything onto these two guys. We're just heaping everything onto the connection, the chemistry between a quarterback and his wide receiver one. The wide receiver one that you spent the 4th overall pick on. We're just heaping all of this pressure onto these two guys. Now, I don't think the pressure is unfair. I think the pressure is warranted. This is a make or break year for Kyler Murray. This is a huge year 2 for Marvin Harrison Jr., who, let's face it, to a lot of people, that rookie year was bad. If you asked a lot of people about Marvin Harrison Jr.'s rookie season, they would classify it or describe it as a bad rookie season. I wouldn't go that far. I think he missed expectations. I think comparatively to the way first-round wide receivers have hit the ground running in years past, he missed that mark. And so that's why you feel the way that you do. But it was not a bad rookie campaign. Just you left a little bit to be desired. Want to see more. And so that is what puts the pressure on Marv here in year 2. Now, I don't worry about Marv. Think of who his dad was as a receiver. The work ethic's going to be there. He's going to strive to be better. He's going to hold himself accountable. He's going to think that his rookie season was bad, even though we maybe don't think that. He's going to think that rookie season was bad. He's going to think that there was more in the tank, and he put in the work. Him and Kyler have been working. I hope that work pays off. I hope that work is important. I hope that work leads to them being on the same page, because what we have said about this team this season, their schedule in the first half is open for the taking. Their schedule in the first half has got wins littered all over it. When we played the win-loss game when the schedule first came out, we were all over the first half of the schedule being just the world is their oyster type of schedule. They can put together an impressive start to the season that's going to have everybody talking about the Arizona Cardinals and how great of a start that they got off to. That's the way the schedule breaks for them. How you take advantage of that schedule, you don't have these miscommunications in the early going like you did last year. You were on the same page, quarterback, wide receiver one, and you just go out there and take care of business.
I don't know how much of it you'll be able to get a glimpse in minicamp.
Absolutely nothing.
But I'm
Absolutely
excited to see maybe a change in offensive creativity. In buy or sell, I brought up, leaning heavily on the run game like they did last year and how they can't do that. I need to see a little bit of creativity with Marv. Need to see something. And, we talked about it before. When's the last time you've seen him line up in a trips formation where he's the guy getting the ball? When's the last time you've seen them scheme him open? It just doesn't feel like they get him as involved into the game as some of their other receivers, as, other teams. You watch Cincinnati, Jamar Chase is in the game from the minute they snap the ball. And yes, that's because he's the best receiver in football. But they're also flipping the ball out to him. Let your playmaker make a play. They don't do that with Marv.
It's a fair criticism, but it's a criticism that I think is easily addressable. It's easy for this coaching staff to scheme a player of this caliber open. It's easy to make the adjustments and say, okay, we've got to do a better job here of getting the ball into this guy's hands and then designing the plays, designing the scheme, right? We talk about the formula. You talk about scripting your first 15 plays or so in an NFL game. How can we set up the script at the beginning of the game to get him into the rhythm, into the flow, get Kyler into the rhythm and into the flow so that then they can start working way down the field. You can take those big, deep shots and you're going to be comfortable and confident. That feels to me like a relatively easy thing for them to address. Scheming him open is all about coaching. It's all about who your coordinator is. And that's why there's pressure on Drew Petzing. But the guy got head coaching interviews last offseason. Bears talked to him. So he is viewed as one of the more prolific offensive minds that this game has right now. We've got to see it in regard to Marvin Harrison Jr. And I'm sorry, I am not going to overreact if we see a social media clip of Kyler throwing a ball to Marv during minicamp. Not doing it. Not happening. This is best shape of your lifetime, and I'm not going to be on board with it. I'm not going to overreact to things that we see. But this is where you can start to see the breadcrumbs, though, to where we can look back during the season and say, yes, we saw the signs of it in minicamp, and then they actually followed through on it in the regular season. But that goes for the entire offense. You wanted to bring up Trey McBride and needing to get more creative with him. They put a lot on his shoulders. He's the number one option in the offense right now. If that's the case, you got to be more creative with him as well because teams are going to make the counter adjustment in the chess match that plays out on Sundays.
He's their best receiving option and was last year. And he didn't have a receiving touchdown until what, week 10?
But to that point, he was their number one option, led the team in all those numbers. You think teams are just going to let that happen again this season? Or there's going to be a different look, a different scheme that gets thrown at Trey McBride and the Arizona Cardinals. So they have to adjust to the adjustment. They have to continue to get creative. So creativity is going to be the name of the game for this team. I don't know if we get to see that during minicamp. We're certainly not going to see it during the preseason. They're not going to give their hand away. But creativity is going to be the name of the game when the season starts for this offense. If they're creative and they get their guys into a flow and into a rhythm, I really, truly believe the sky is the limit for this offense. Because when it's free-flowing, when they're in rhythm, when they're creative, I think that's when Kyler can be at his best. I think that's when he can be great. So they have to find a way to get to that place consistently. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. You can also join us on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. There's a small ball baseball conversation going on over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live chat. Still talking about Corbin Carroll bunting in extras last night, playing small ball. Just to give you a little taste, we're talking football. KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live chat, still talking about baseball. Speaking of baseball, Merrill Kelly was great last night. His future very much up in the air. What will the future hold for Merrill Kelly here in Arizona? We'll get to it next here on the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Arizona. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. T&Cs apply. Available in app only.
The Offspring. Supercharged worldwide in 25. One unforgettable summer night. The Offspring, live in Phoenix. With special guests, Jimmy Eat World and Newfound Glory. Playing Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater August 27th. Get tickets now at livenation.com. 3 great bands. 1 incredible show. Part of the America First Credit Union Concert Series.
Hi, I'm Kamiko, the founder of Miko's Hot Chicken. When we started our family restaurant, we were also raising a family. But let me tell you, it wasn't easy. Our Chase Inc. card was there to reward us on all of our business needs. Now we have a thriving location, and we're hungry for more.
With the Chase Inc. Business Unlimited card, you can earn unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase, so your business can go from here to possible. Chase for Business. Make more with yours. Real business owners compensated for their participation. Cards issued by J.P. Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Connect directly, bid confidently. At Purple Wave Auction, transparency is key. With no reserves and no hidden surprises, you're connected directly to sellers so you can inspect and bid on quality equipment with confidence. Whether you're looking for ag, construction, or fleet equipment, we're here to ensure a clear, hassle-free experience. Register today at purplewave.com and start bidding with peace of mind. Purple Wave Auction, the easiest and most straightforward way to buy and sell equipment.
You don't need lunch. You need a lunch miracle. You need Peter Piper Pizza's lunch buffet starting at $9.99. Think about it. A dozen people, 15 lunch ideas, and only an hour to eat? Lunch miracle to the rescue. Peter Piper Pizza's lunch buffet has fun and deliciousness served fresh. Choose from pizzas, pastas, salads, and desserts starting at $9.99 a person. The next time you need a lunchtime miracle on a weekday between 11 and 2, look no further. At Peter Piper Pizza, the fun is baked in.
The summertime savings are heating up at Scottsdale Mitsubishi. Right now, you can receive a 0% APR for 36 months on a brand new 2025 Mitsubishi Outlander.
That's right, 0%. Or check out a 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage for just $16,000. Come see us at the Scottsdale Auto Show or go to scottsdalemitsubishi.com to check out our current selection of inventory not affected by future tariff changes.
The name to remember, Scottsdale Mitsubishi, Scottsdale Mitsubishi, another Mark Auto Group dealership.
Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Welcome back into the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert with you. We've got you till the top of the hour. We'll hand things off to the Jim Rome Show at 1 o'clock. Diving back into the Diamondbacks and their win last night in extras over the Seattle Mariners. Headlined by the unfortunate injury to Justin Martinez, but the way the night started was exactly what the doctor ordered for the Arizona Diamondbacks because they got excellent starting pitching from a guy who we have just become accustomed to expecting excellent starting pitching from. Merrill Kelly last night, 6 scoreless innings, 7 strikeouts. He has not allowed an earned run in the month of June over his 2 starts, over the 13 innings that he's thrown. He was excellent once again last night. Was the stopper that this team has needed him to be. Not the first time this season that he has been the stopper. Was the stopper the second game of the season against the Cubs after Zach Gallen had a rough go of it on opening night. It was Merrill Kelly the next day. 5 1/3, 1 run allowed in that game. A bounce-back win for the Diamondbacks in the second game of the season. This is who he has been throughout his entire career here in Arizona. Just a cool customer, calm, cool, collected. We call it, producer Evan to open the show called him a blue-collar pitcher. Just lunch pail mentality, clock in, clock out, do a job, do it to the best of your ability. No nonsense. So that got me to thinking. Merrill Kelly is going to be a free agent at the end of the season. We've mentioned it a lot here on the show when it comes to the Diamondbacks potentially being sellers. What does his future hold? Does his future potentially hold a return to Arizona? And I compare him to the other starter in this rotation who is also staring down free agency. That being Zach Gallen. Merrill Kelly, older pitcher, 36, going to be 37 years old. Zach Gallen, 29, is going to turn 30 when he hits free agency. So a 7-year age difference between the two. Merrill Kelly not going to ask for big-term, long-term dollars. Zach Gallen's probably looking to cash in and get that bigger, longer, more lucrative deal. And so, watching Merrill Kelly last night, we've had the conversation about trading those guys at the deadline, at least a little bit. We haven't gone full-blown the Diamondbacks for sellers mode here yet on the show. And I found myself coming to this place this morning. If you could only get one of them to come back, if you could wave a magic wand and one of those guys would be on the Diamondbacks next season, I don't think there's a debate right now. Most, if not all, Diamondbacks fans would pick Merrill Kelly as the starter that they would want to bring back for 2026 over Zach Gallen. Even though he's older, even though he's going to be 37, you would rather have Merrill Kelly. And I agree. That's where I'm at. Because I think the floor is higher with Merrill Kelly than it is with Zach Gallen. Is the ceiling higher with Gallen? Yeah, I think Gallen, when everything is working and all the pieces are put together, it's a Cy Young caliber pitcher. I don't know if Merrill Kelly is going to be able to go on that type of dominance. But a blue collar, 6 innings, hard work, quality start, every time out, Merrill Kelly has that floor every single time, at least most of the time he steps foot on the mound for you. You can't say the same about Zach Gallen. And so I'd rather Kelly over Gallen. And I don't know if you would have said that 2 years ago. I don't know if you would have said that 3 years ago. But Merrill Kelly has been the more consistent, reliable, trustworthy pitcher. And as we have shown and as we have seen this season, being reliable out there as part of a pitching staff, being trustworthy, being consistent is more than half the battle. And Merrill Kelly has been that for the Arizona Diamondbacks. So much so that I went and pulled the numbers today. Spotrac, great a contract resource for sports fans. They have this tool called market value. So anybody who is a pending free agent, they're able to compare players of a similar caliber, a similar age, and they look at what those guys got in contracts, and then they do some adjustments based for your performance, and they come up with what they expect your market value to be. It's not an exact science. It doesn't mean that that's exactly what Merrill Kelly or Zach Gallen is going to get in free agency, but I like it as a gauge, and I like it as a launching point for a conversation. The market value for Merrill Kelly was 2 years, $34.5 million. The market value for Zach Gallen was 6 years, $115.5 million, if I'm remembering the number correctly. It might have been 116, but it was $115.5 million. And so presented with those two numbers in front of me, I would much rather have the shorter term deal, even for the older pitcher, even for the pitcher that doesn't have the higher ceiling. I'll take the higher floor. And maybe we're a little burned by Corbin Burns signing that big deal and immediately getting hurt and potentially losing a season and a half. And Madison Bumgarner and Zach Greinke and all the big pitching contracts that this team has given out, and they have not worked out for them. And so maybe we're just risk averse now to those longer term pitcher contracts, which you probably should be anyway with the way pitcher injuries are starting to pile up, not just for the Diamondbacks, but across baseball. But just in terms of sheer value, give me the short term contract. Give me the 2 years. $17 million for Kelly, according to the market value, $19 for Gallen. I'm not committing 6 years to Zach Gallen. I would much rather commit 2 years to Merrill Kelly if I could only pick between the two. He's the guy I would rather have the ball in a key spot right now over Zach Gallen. He's the guy that I trust more in those big spots. He's the guy that I'm more confident in. He's the guy that at least I think is more reliable. We said at the start of the show, if you had 5 Merrill Kellys in the rotation, where would this team be right now? Reliability is more than half the battle out there in a rotation. So it's just me speaking, but the more I watch Merrill Kelly and the more I watch Zach Gallen and the more I see us barreling down towards a path of them potentially not being here for the rest of the season, or the Diamondbacks needing to choose because they are not bringing both of those guys back. If they had to choose, if they could only bring one back, and I don't know if they would bring both back. I don't know if they're going to be able to bring both back with the amount of money that they're going to have tied up in pitchers next season. I would give the money to Merrill Kelly before I would give the money to Zach Gallen.
I really don't even know if it's that much of a conversation. Apart from some outliers, I know what I'm getting in Merrill Kelly.
Yeah.
Night in and night out.
He's had a couple of bad starts. I have his game logs up from this season just to refresh my memory.
In New York.
It was his second start of the season. It was a cold night in April in New York. And after that start, it was 2 runs or fewer in his next 5 starts. So an outlier of all outliers.
I mean, his 2 worst starts since the one in New York, which, by the way, was on April 3rd.
Yeah.
He gave me, at St. Louis, 6 innings, 4 earned runs, versus home against Washington, 5 innings, and the 4 earned runs. That's it.
Those are his 2 worst starts since that Yankee start. And even then, those starts aren't terrible, awful. He had a 3.22 ERA in May, and that's including those 2 starts that you mentioned. He had a 4.94 ERA in April, and that includes the 9 earned runs that he allowed in New York against the Yankees. Just a model of consistency. And again, maybe it's because of the Burns injury that I just don't want to touch another long-term contract for a pitcher. But I would much rather go short-term, higher floor, lower ceiling, than go huge, long, mega contract, lower floor, higher ceiling. The Diamondbacks are going to have to play more towards the floor than they are to the ceiling when the budget, I think, comes back a little bit at the end of this season if they don't make the playoffs. And so Merrill Kelly would be the bet for me. Now, does he get $234 on the open market, or are starting pitching prices going to inflate to the point where he gets more than that? I don't know. Does he want to come back to Arizona? All of those are questions that I can't answer right now, but I do know that his future is up in the air. He is a free agent at the end of the season. There's a chance that they trade him before the July 31st deadline. So before we get there, before Merrill Kelly goes someplace else, I thought it was fair to have the conversation of between these 2 pending free agents. I was a huge Zach Gallen fan. I was on the radio at the time that they traded for him, and I said, this is a future ace of this staff. And so for me to be in this place says a lot. I would rather have Merrill Kelly right now than I would Zach Gallen.
And when Gallen's on, he is one of the best in baseball.
Yes. He's just not on all the time. He's just not on consistent enough.
Merrill Kelly gives me the chance to win every time he touches the bump. I don't know if Zach Gallen does that for me anymore. And with where this team sits, you can't take on that risk.
No, you can't add more risk. You've got a ton of risk on your plate as it is.
Because if you're going to be tied into $35 million a year for the next 6 years with Corbin Burns.
Yeah. You're going to pay him $35 million next year to not pitch for you.
And you may save money on the average based on Zach Gallen. But I just can't sign a 6-year deal.
I don't know if they're going to bring either one of these guys back. I don't know if it's going to be in the financial cards, but if they do bring one of them back, if they can only bring one of them back, it would be Merrill Kelly, and I don't even think I would have any reservations about it. 480-864-1060, the phone number for you to join us here. Also got you over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. When we come back, it is the leftovers, all the stories we didn't get to throughout the course of the show today, and I have to start the leftovers. I have a critique. Something happened last night. Some etiquette occurred at PHX Arena when I was watching Monday Night Raw, and it bothered me, and I need to vent about it. I've been waiting all show, and it is the perfect leftover story, so we will do it next here. KDUS AM 1060.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KDUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends. celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
Empty slogans and cute jingles. Lawyers love to act like they care. Do they back it up? Hi, I'm Mark Breyer.
And I'm Alexis Breyer. We're the husband and wife law team. One study found that half of all clients were unhappy with the lawyer they hired. The number one complaint, a total lack of communication.
We take client happiness seriously. That's why we survey all our clients and know that over 97% are happy. Do your research. Call the husband and wife law team first.
I got my first real six string.
Brian Adams, Roll with the Punches Tour 2025. A night full of hits, live at PHX Arena, Saturday, November 15th. With special guest Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo. Get tickets now at livenation.com.
Empty slogans and cute jingles. Lawyers love to act like they care. Do they back it up? Hi, I'm Mark Breyer.
And I'm Alexis Breyer. We're the husband and wife law team. One study found that half of all clients were unhappy with the lawyer they hired. The number one complaint, a total lack of communication.
We take client happiness seriously. That's why we survey all our clients and know that over 97% are happy. Do your research. Call the husband and wife law team first.
It starts with a simple order, a cold Dos Equis dressed with salt and lime. But for the salt clinging to the bottle and the lime perched on top, this is the luckiest of unions. As if the universe has swiped right, pairing flavors together with a crisp Dos Equis. This is refreshment designed by fate, blessed by destiny, and served by bartenders. Enjoy Dos Equis responsibly. Copyright 2024 Dos Equis, imported by Cervezas Mexicanas, White Plains, New York.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Back to close things up here on the Tuesday edition of the Lunch Break here on KDUS AM 1060. Appreciate you making us a part of your day. Jim Rome's coming up at the top of the hour. It's the leftovers, all the stories we didn't get to throughout the course of the program. Normally spearheaded by producer Evan.
Who cares?
But instead, I would like to start the leftovers today, if you don't mind. I have to get something off of my chest. Last night, downtown Phoenix at PHX Arena, watching Monday Night Raw. Took my daughter. My daughter was at work with me yesterday. Then I took her to Raw. We had a great time. But something happened while we were there. And when I bought the tickets to the show, I picked our seats very carefully. I picked seats on the aisle for just a quick exit entry, just to make it easy, right?
Perfect. Good plan.
But I understand that when you're at a concert, a game, a show, anything like that, people are going to want to get up and go to the bathroom, get some food, some snacks. There's going to be some moving throughout the course of the show or game, concert, whatever you're seeing. I get that. I'm of the belief that you get basically one, okay? You show up to your row, and perhaps you have to do the whole, hey, I'm in here, excuse me. Okay, so now you're in your seat. When you sit down, I think you get one. You get one, I'm getting up, I'm going out to get something, and I'm coming back. I'm inconveniencing you one more time. I think you get one. Anything after that, it starts to stack the anger level for me. I cannot tell you how many times last night the dude sitting directly to our right got up throughout the show. I think it was more than 10 times. More than 10 times, this gentleman got up, left, did something, came back. He wasn't always coming back with food. Sometimes he came back with food. Sometimes he came back with a beer. Sometimes he came back with nothing. One time, he came back, sat down. Within 30 seconds of sitting down, he got back up to go do something else with food and a beer in his hand. What did you forget while you were out there, my guy? So I need to understand, is my read of this incorrect? Is my etiquette wrong here that you get the 1? Maybe 2 if you have a child and they need to get up to go to the bathroom or something. But anything beyond 2 or 3, I feel like we're entering territory where I can tell you, dude, sit down and watch the show. I didn't do that. I wanted to.
At an event like that, it's too many times. In a baseball game, like in between innings, you have no right to be angry. You have no right to be angry.
You know what? An astute observation by you. If there's no action going on and you want to get up and about, I got no problem with that. But if you're getting up, and then my favorite is you get up and you're like, oh, is this the right aisle? I forgot what aisle I'm in. Dude, you're standing in my way.
Worst.
I can't see the show. This has been bothering me since last night.
No, at a show like that, you get 1. You get 1, maybe 2. And the only 2 is like if you need a refill on a beer, but then you have the people coming around. Now, let me ask you this. Would you rather have somebody in the middle of the aisle, get up and hit the exit to go get a beer? Or would you rather have them have the person like wave down the person that's carrying the beers, have that person set it down, and then you have to hand their card over to them and then the beer back?
I'll be the middleman.
Okay.
I will be the middleman for convenience, for everybody's sake, to make sure that everybody can enjoy the show. Nobody's got to get up. I have no problem being the middleman. Now, I will tell you, I don't remember seeing a beer vendor get up to where we were sitting.
That's a problem.
I saw a gentleman selling churros.
Nice.
I did not see.
Did you grab one?
No, I did not.
I love a good churro.
The churros are great. I did not see the beer vendor, but I wasn't paying attention for the beer vendor, so maybe I missed him. But yeah, this has been bothering me since last night. It was just constant up and down, up and down, up and down. It's like, dude, make one run, get all, and he was by himself, which is fine. You're enjoying a wrestling show by yourself, no problem with that. But dude, come on, man.
Maybe he had friends. Maybe he was going to meet some friends.
Then go
He
sit
bought
with
a
the
ticket
friends.
late.
Then go sit with the friends.
Was it packed house?
Oh, full house.
Yeah. It's tough. To be honest with you, when you had first said about tickets in the aisle, I was like, oh, you got people sitting next to you in the aisle? Because that's the worst. Have you ever had that?
No. I would politely ask them to go find someplace else to sit, though.
That's pretty bad. And I've been that guy. But at DFA, when you're in the aisle in like the student section, you have people sitting on the bleachers next to you. That's the worst.
Yeah, it was not enjoyable. The constant up and down. What is your best leftover story? Sorry that I took over the entire leftover segment.
No, it's okay. Bleacher Report did a story today. I thought this was the most interesting with a kind of a Cardinals tie.
Okay.
The best free agents available that are under 30.
Okay.
And I'm just going to give you guys that I think could be useful for the Cardinals. First, number 9 is Jack Jones.
Corner.
Makes
sense.
Probably get a good deal.
Veteran.
He's 27. He's still probably got a little left in the tank. I like it. I think it could be good. Then you have number 8, another guy I think could work, is Jawan Bentley, linebacker, New England.
Okay, another position that we think that they could address and upgrade at, so 2 for 2 so far.
A couple guys, couldn't believe J.K. Dobbins is on this list. No. Don't think he would help the Cardinals.
Not anymore. Saw this during the break. He signed with Denver.
No way, right now.
Not available anymore.
Nice. Number 5 is Kaiser White.
Okay.
Number 4 is Jermaine Pratt, who is a guy we did a whole segment on yesterday.
Yesterday, we shared that they should be all over that. Yes.
Number 3 is actually probably my favorite on the list for the Cardinals.
Okay.
I think he adds depth. He's young, and that's Asante Samuel Jr.
There were some rumors about them being interested in him at the beginning of free agency. Nothing ever came to pass with those. So I wonder if maybe they revisit it here in the 3rd or 4th wave of free agency, but would make some sense. Again, depth for a room that could need some depth. I don't think they need a starter, but some depth. I think that would make some sense.
I think he offers you depth, and he's 25.
Yeah.
Like he could so have a great year. And remember, he was a first-round pick for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 is Gabe Davis, who is another name we've talked about. We talked about them adding a veteran receiver. We haven't talked about him in a while.
I've just given up on the idea that they're going to add a veteran wide receiver. That's why we haven't talked about it much here on the show.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen.
For good reason.
Brian said, was it an older dude, maybe a bladder issue? I think he was younger than me, the guy sitting next to me.
Oh.
So I don't know.
Was he my age?
May have been a little older than you.
Okay.
But yeah, just please, if you're going to an event, you get 1, maybe 2. That's it. 1 up and down and asking people to move. After that, you become an annoyance. Tuesday edition of the program in the books. Producer Evan, thank you for all that you do. Jim Rome is coming up next. Everybody, have a great rest of your Tuesday. We will talk to you tomorrow. See ya!
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLA